Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello, 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 hello,
Oh,
hello,
oh,
hello,
oh, oh.
hello, 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 hello.
One more time. Okay, I got to make sure that this over here. There we go. I got to mute that. All right, guys. Hey, everybody. How's who we got on board with us? Well, there's Charlie. There's Kim, and we got 9 on board already. Um, our live is already up to 300, almost 350 people from yesterday. It's going to pass the one we had on Monday.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, and the other lives are picking up more too. So that's that's all to you guys. We appreciate y'all joining us. We're enjoying this. Had fun chat yesterday. We're gonna have a fun one today. Watch some more Sunny West. Um,
Delbert.
Delbert, Delbert. That's a new one for me. That's an interesting story. Did you ever know he was called Delbert?
No.
I didn't know that. It's 82 here. It's supposed to be 90 tomorrow. Yeah, it's 82 here too. All right, had fun. Had a great inside the studio today. Um,
Mm-hmm.
some good songs. Nice acapella.
Mm.
That was one of the best ones. Hey Sally.
But
All
then
right.
again, have we ever had an Elvis a cappella that's been shit?
No, of course not. No,
Mhm.
no, you're right. Never had a shitty one, unless I screwed it up on the playback. It'd be because of Elvis.
Do you have that one CD where they actually removed all the music in the background, but if you listen real hard, you could hear it? But
Oh
then,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
They back then. Oh look, who's joining us?
Ooh,
All right, this ought to be fun.
I told you she was going to come.
You asked
Uh-oh.
me to be here, so I will be here. Hi, Kim.
Hey, hey, I guess now I have to be on my best behavior. We have
No,
ladies in the house.
please don't. Please don't. I
Yeah,
prefer you not.
yeah. No, this is going to be fun. This will be real interesting.
I listened to Lisa Marie's book and Riley's. I listened to the whole thing today.
What do
Did
you
you?
think, Joe?
Uh, what happened to her in the beginning when someone, touched her. But the ending just tears your heart out. And Lisa Marie was she was devastated after Ben. And I think she just gave up right then. She put on a good face.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you're being told constantly to go to the doctor, you go to the doctor, take your meds, and you don't take your meds and stuff like that, she just wanted to go back with Ben, and it tears your heart out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now
She.
when she talks about those banana shoes
Hmm.
and
Mhm.
yeah, it's a heartbreaker
It's heart
book.
wrenching.
I've often thought, though, when you listen to the book, Joe, doesn't it make you curious to know about what she said in the tapes that were never used in the book?
Hmm. What we didn't hear.
Like, can you imagine what's out there
Yeah.
that we'll never hear? Yeah,
Yeah,
Maybe
I
one
don't.
day when a certain grandmother is no longer here, we might get them all. I have
yeah.
a feeling there was some filtering on there.
Did did
Who are you alluding to?
when when Lisa Marie died? Did she said that she wanted to be buried in Meditation Garden? Or no, she wanted to be with Ben. So yeah, okay, that's an automatic.
Yeah,
Yeah, wherever he would have ended. Yeah, up. So
Yeah.
then she took that last spot that was available.
I'm gonna watch that a little bit. Yeah, it was I listened. I think I listened to it and read it twice in a row, and I waited about a couple months. I went back and read it again, and each time it was just
Yeah.
it's as if I heard it the first time again. When I got to the point about the part that hit me right at the beginning was the watching people take things.
Mhm.
When he slapped your hand because she hurt herself.
Oh yeah,
And it just broke her heart. That's such a daddy's girl thing, though. Like, you don't want to disappoint your father ever.
yeah,
It
He
just,
did that. It made me think differently of Elvis. And then right after that, and what he did, he was just concerned that you don't want your little one to get hurt.
yeah.
yeah,
Being stupid, you got to
yeah.
true to him. But that just when he woke her up and
And his heart was just
Singing to her. Yeah.
mhm.
yeah.
I think
I'm glad
I
you
think
finally got to listen to it.
I think when Lisa was born, she was responsible for fulfilling a lot of the gap that he felt when his mama died.
I think so, too.
I agree. Yeah, and I think she did fill a lot of that gap, um, and then Then the same thing with Lisa now. I think Ben wound up
Hmm.
filling that gap
Right.
from her father.
And she talks about that, the generational Elvis and Gladys and her and Benjamin and
Delta.
yeah. And I think
Delta.
Lisa was like Gladys. He didn't have to question why she loved him. He just knew that that love was unconditional.
Yeah,
It wasn't a girlfriend or a friend wanting something. She just loved him.
right.
I felt
I,
sorry. I'm sorry. I felt sorry for Riley too because she knew that Ben was the special one.
I'm gonna keep talking. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to arrange this a bit. Go ahead and keep talking.
There we go.
yeah, I kind of agree with you in one sense, Joe, but I think in a different sense too. Riley does accept that she did have a special relationship with her mother, but yes, I think in a certain context, I do agree with you. I think she did somehow have an underlying feeling of always knowing
Yeah.
that that Ben was the golden boy,
And
for lack of
Love of
better
Lisa's life,
expression.
as she says.
keeping the body there was weird.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think if I had the capability and I lost a child, I would do the same thing.
Really, for that
Yeah,
long?
yeah. I
Well,
had
you
it.
gotta think that it was COVID too, so nothing was moving quick.
Mm.
And would you leave him in the morgue or the funeral home risking a photo of him?
Ooh,
Mm.
Mm.
that's a
There's no way. There is no way. Somebody would have been so wanting to get a picture of his body.
Yeah. The poor tattoo artist. Could you
I'm,
imagine going in there
I'm so dark. I'm so dark inside, though. I thought that was freaking hilarious. He was probably like,
in a room kept at 55?
yeah,
Mm.
Yeah, I had a relative up in, though I don't know them very well. My dad had told me about it, and that they had done pretty much the same thing for a few weeks. The mother couldn't let go of the daughter, and of course, wound up finally having to do something about it. But she didn't do it with a blessing of anybody. This is just some
yeah.
small town, and yeah, it's a hard book. I need to. That's the next book we're going to cover in the book chat, and it'll be interesting.
Well,
But then,
it's
but then again, I think it's a fair statement to make when I say that different people grieve in different ways.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Absolutely.
what doesn't seem normal for one person is absolutely normal for the next person. And then again, if somebody does choose to grieve in a specific way, who are we
to,
as external people
mm,
to judge and say no, they're wrong?
yeah,
Absolutely.
they just
Absolutely.
it's odd. It's Melissa says it happened a lot keeping a dead loved one in the home. People act like Lisa was the only one to do it.
yeah.
No, she should do it. But I think the amount of time that Lisa did. How long was it?
About a month, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. But like I said, I wouldn't have left, trying to figure COVID stuff
Yeah,
out and
I didn't
getting
realize.
people there to have a funeral, and I wouldn't have left him in there to risk that because you got to think she saw that picture of Elvis on the front of the Enquirer.
Mm. Oh,
Mhm.
yeah,
Like I always try to see it through her eyes as a child growing up in that. Excuse me. Elvis was her father. To us,
yeah,
he's Elvis. He was her daddy. You know.
Yeah.
yeah.
You knew her a little bit, right?
No, I mean I met her quite a bit, um, but I wouldn't say like I knew her. But I just have always had this odd kind of empathy for her, I guess, since I was a little kid, just losing her dad and
Yeah. I
Yeah, after I read and listened to the book, it just changed. For now, well, I don't want to say for the worse or the better. It just changed my whole perspective of what she really went through.
hmm
too.
Some of the stuff I never knew about. I heard stories about the Michael Edwards thing and all that, but it enlightened but the comment that was made out there about her being a child and all she knew really was what she was told is bullshit.
Mhm.
No, she was a very
mind of her
intuitive.
own. Yeah, yeah.
She was very intuitive from a very young age. She knew exactly what was going on where. She
hmm
might not have understood the magnitude and size of who her father was because who would? I mean,
Right.
it's to her to her Elvis was her father and that was it.
Yeah.
But to have the attitude and say she didn't have any idea or she was too young to, no, she knew very well.
And we were talking about this yesterday. Something that terrible you're going to remember, but it's weird because after listening to the book, there are stories that she mentioned that I don't even think that the Memphis Mafia would know about. There weren't big stories that would go in the magazines. It was little things between me and my dad,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it really did change my mind. I thought, oh wow, maybe she really does remember this
it
stuff.
was her daddy. I love the story of him getting pissed about the water and throwing everything off the balcony. And
Yeah, who ever heard of that? Have you ever heard
I
anything?
love it. I love it. And then she's like, "You want to see me? What does he want to see me for? Here's some water, Dad."
Was he Led Zeppelin? I mean, I
I
never
love.
knew he did that. Jerry Lee did it. And
I love the little stories about. Well, if you don't do that, I'm going to tell my daddy on you. He's
Look at
going
my
to get
daddy.
fired. I love that.
And I love she owns her stuff. Like she's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I was a pain in the butt. Like I know that I was.
She knew how she stood at that house. She
Mm-hmm.
knew it. I don't care if she's 5 years old or 50 years old. She knew that she ruled the roost for whatever time she was there,
for
and
sure.
and she used it to her advantage. But I think she also knew the limit
Yeah.
of where she pushed that too.
Mm-hmm.
$20, please.
You know,
I just loved it.
What was it?
you,
Going up and taking the people's cameras and selling for pictures, and then them never coming back with the camera.
Or taking a picture of the door and the floor. Here you go. Melissa
I
said, "Get him some water, Delbert." Yeah, where was
you,
Delbert with the water? Why did Elvis have to be out of water? He's
you know
spending enough,
the
he's spending enough people.
you
God.
know you know the crazy thing though is when people say, yeah, Lisa was too young to know what was going on. If that was honestly the case, why would she have been writing notes in her diary and in wherever she kept them
Mhm.
at the young age that she was? Why would she be writing things like, "Daddy, please don't die"?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we brought that up yesterday. You
yeah.
know,
You know,
she was so intuitive. I think she knew that her dad wasn't well,
Yeah.
mm,
and she wrote that in there. And that's powerful. And to
mm.
say that, it
Well,
just
even
makes me
Danny
mad when
says
it's
she
just
might have been 9, but she was like a teenager. Like
yeah,
Mhm.
she was an older way of thinking, and probably because those guys they were older. Her
yeah,
cousins were that she hung with. So
yeah. That's a good point. Yeah,
yeah.
I always thought she was a spoiled brat, and I don't know why she had complaints. But after listening to that book,
Hmm.
my mind completely changed. I
Yeah.
feel terrible even thinking it.
A lot of
and
people just totally misunderstood her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like the way that I don't know if you noticed it when you listened to it, Joe, but they had the different voices for that. They had Julia Roberts as Lisa as
Uh,
Yes, Lisa.
yeah,
she was Lisa, and then Riley was
Riley.
the narrator, and and then you heard Lisa's voice in there too.
Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah.
When they played the tape. That's what made it so impactful when you listen to it because you can actually know, oh, it's okay. That's Lisa now. Oh no, that's Riley now. Instead of like listening to a narrator of a book and saying, well, who's talking now?
Yeah.
And that was brilliant for them to do that.
got
But
confusing to me.
did it
Yeah, it got confusing. Who's talking now? Which one is it? Okay, this is all right. That's Lisa, and yeah, I had a problem with that.
in
This
the book?
But
In the book, they had it in different type font. So when it
oh,
was Lisa's part, it was in one font, and then when it was Riley talking, it was in a different font.
so you haven't listened to the audio.
You what?
You guys haven't listened to the audio
Oh,
book.
I did. I did. I
Yeah.
listened. I got Audible and the Kindle version. So the Audible talks as I'm reading it, and it does the little like bouncing ball type thing. The words light up as it goes. So I listened to it and read it at the same time, and that way I was able to speed it up a little bit the first time to get all the way through it. Then I went back and listened to it at the regular speed. That's about how I do every book.
Yeah.
hey, don't feel bad, Joe. It's usually confusion is usually easily accomplished when you're 60 plus, so it's okay. We understand.
I knew Joe knew sign language. Do you see that?
He does. That's my favorite one too.
We were talking about that. Um, all right. Well, I guess we got a couple of videos to watch here on Delbert. That's a new one for me. I learned something.
Delbert.
I learn
Yeah.
something new every freaking time we do these shows.
Delbert
So,
West.
All right.
I just can't resist. I have to get my dig in there somewhere. If
That's
it,
fine.
if,
I usually pick on you and Rick, but I'm trying to be nice because Amy's here. So,
Don't be nice.
okay. Pam, you're a dick.
Don't censor yourself because of me.
Is it
All
late?
right, here we go. Part 2 of the Sunny West Joel Krein interview from who knows what year.
That crying.
Man, I don't know what's going on with the phone.
Either.
This is ridiculous.
Quit it, man.
I'm sorry.
Before we get into it, anybody that's got a question or wants to make a point, remember to put the red question mark at the start of any question so we can catch it. That makes it a whole lot easier because you guys are great at making comments, but they go by us so fast sometimes. So just keep that in mind. All right, sorry, we're gonna go.
I don't know what's going on. I'm on a hardline phone,
I am too.
so I won't bother you much longer. Hey, I'm sure
Wait a
you've
minute,
been...
where did I end up at there?
Well,
I don't want to have something end in the middle.
I'm trying to think. Oh, just about his addictions.
Yeah, and did I say about when they grow up, for them to wait?
No.
Okay, I was saying that at this early age, you just don't know whether you have it. So if you do have it and you start very early, then it's going to hit you very early.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to be addicted, and you're going to have a rougher time than if you wait until you're old enough to drink legally before you drink. And if you do have to take pain medicine, if you will take it, and when the pain has gone and there's no reason for you to take it anymore, then don't take it anymore. Don't get any more. If someone offers you one, just refuse it, if you don't need it. If they're just saying this will make you feel good, just say, I don't want to feel good. I feel good the way that I am. I'm okay. And just say no. The same way they tell you to say it to marijuana or anything else. Well, I'm telling you, prescription drugs do the same thing. I got this from my mom's cabinet. It'll make you feel good. Just say, I don't want it, and just don't take it. And I said, and then when you get older, you have a better chance of fighting it off if you do have an addictive nature, when you can reason things out and know, I don't want to get into this.
Did Elvis try to fight it?
He did, and he won short battles with it. He didn't win the war, as we know, but he won some battles with it when he would get off of it for a while, and he would ease back into it.
Yeah.
He got off of it when we did the satellite show for a month or two while
He looked great.
he and I dieted. He made me go on another diet with him
Uh-huh.
that Joe and Lamar and I had been on in Vegas in August and September, and I'd lost something like 30 pounds.
Mm.
And so when he knew he was going to do the satellite show there at the end of November or so, he said, Sonny, because he knew it was a 30-day diet, you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Joe, that's kind of take something. So he went ahead and asked me to go on it with him so he could lose some weight for the satellite show. He was probably about 20 pounds overweight, which would be more so on camera, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him I didn't want to go on it again, Joe. God, I hated that diet. I just hated the food that you ate was prepared frozen stuff in bags that you eat in boiling water for 10 minutes. Had no seasoning. They had a thing called stew. They had a thing called chili that they tasted just alike. I think they were lying. They were the same thing, and they just put two different labels. But you could have, now this diet was so particular, you couldn't even use lotions or anything that had fat in them to rub on your skin.
You kidding?
No, it would go in to your system and make you gain weight.
Huh.
That's how weird this thing was. So I told Elvis, Elvis, you can't do any of that. You can't cheat either. I said, because if you do, man, you'll put on weight faster than you could ever take it off. So anyway, he after I tried to tell him that it could kill me or damage my organs because I was supposed to wait 6 months before I was just making stuff up.
Uh-huh.
He never told me this, but I'm trying to tell him that so I don't have to take it again. And he said, that's not going to happen to you, Sonny. I need you to get on it with me. I said, okay. So I did, and I called Artie Newman in Vegas, at the casino boss, one of them, and he sent 30 days supply out for me and 30 for Elvis, and with the prepared food, the daily shots that you gave yourself in the thigh, with that little short disposable needle,
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah, you didn't know it's nothing to it. It's so short. It's only, golly,
I
it
can
goes
get
into
this
your
picture.
skin there, and it's only about, golly, I don't know, probably less than a half-inch long.
Mm-hmm.
And you just pop it in, and there's just a little stuff in there, and some of it is vitamin B12.
Uh-huh.
The rest of it is the protein from a pregnant woman's urine,
Ooh.
a mare, or a horse or something. I'm not sure. I heard
Holy-
some stories. But anyway,
HCG.
the evening meal was wonderful, Joe. It was filet mignon,
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
2 ounces. Or it was cooked.
Oh, jeez.
It was a bite.
Oh, my
It
God.
was literally a bite that I normally took.
How
when
did
was
it
cooked.
Elvis get through that?
And so I did. I cut it in half and took a bite, and I just chewed on it until it was gone. I took the other one, the other half, and chewed on it the first night, that I did it. And I thought, wow. And then I realized, I'm done.
Yeah.
My meal is over, man. What is going on? So I learned how to cut it real thin. Real thin. Razor thin.
Yeah.
And just kind of let it melt in my mouth, bite after bite after bite. So he got me to do it. And I ordered that stuff, and we did it. And that first night, I said, Elvis, let me tell you something right now. Before you eat that steak, let me show you how to do it. And I started cutting. He said, man, I can't. I said, Elvis, if you don't, you're going to take it in a couple, 3 bites. You're going to be done with dinner, man.
Uh-huh.
And I said, you need to make it last as long as you can, because you don't get it again until tomorrow night. So he did it, and he didn't cut it as thin as I did, but he cut it in several little pieces,
Uh-huh.
And we also, before we started, I said also, Elvis, you can't let the guys be around us when we eat with anything that they're eating,
Yeah.
because it'll make you want to cheat. You'll think just a bite of something, but you don't know that bite could put on a pound or a pound and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, you just can't let them eat around us while we're doing our thing. And I said, and don't let them kid us and talk about the burger they just had.
Mm-hmm.
He said, oh, I won't. So they didn't. So some of them would sit there just quietly while we'd talk about other things, but most time they stayed out.
Yeah.
They smelled like food.
And he looked good, too.
It's
Oh, he did. He looked fantastic. That's the best he's looked in a long time, since, when I say a long time, he looked good in early 72, and then he started putting on a little weight, and that's why he needed to take it off
Mm-hmm.
by the time we did the satellite show. But he looked so good between 67 and 71.
Yeah. He did.
That's when he made Stairway Joe and had Change of Habit, Charo.
Were you in any of them, Sonny?
Oh, yeah, I was in Stairway Joe. I had a kind of a featured role in that. I played a character named Jackson Hecrow, a good friend of Elvis's, an Indian friend that grew up with him on the reservation.
he was in trouble
Oh,
with
I
girls.
don't think I realized that was you.
Yeah, that's he with the black hair, and then I wear the Levi coat, Levi jacket, and Levi.
And they darkened your skin.
Huh?
They darken your skin?
Makeup, and they also put a dark rinse on my hair to darken it up.
Uh-huh.
And my name is Jackson Hecrow. You can see me. I'm all the way through it when he first starts. And do you remember the opening of the picture when he's riding the bull in and everything?
Right.
Okay. Do you remember the Indian people that were helping herd them as they got near the place?
Right.
We pulled up in a flatbed truck.
Right.
I was on the back, and I jumped off. My girlfriend, I put her on my back, piggyback, and we were herding those cows.
I did not realize that was you.
That was me, yeah.
Wow. How was it on the...
You just ruined his ego,
how was it
Joe.
doing the movies? It must have got boring after a while.
I'm going to
Oh,
tell you,
what's
well,
that?
the movie
Joe ruined his
Elvis
ego when he said, "I didn't know that was
because
you."
he referred to them as travelogues starring him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he said they just take you to another location, give me some songs to sing, a couple of girls, and a couple of guys to fight, and that's it, just in different locations.
Right.
So, and it was true. But that came because of the success, Elvis' success in that movie. Blue Hawaii was also his nemesis that he had to live with, because everyone, including Hal Wallace, wanted the success of that picture again. That was Elvis' most successful picture. It cost about $500,000 to make, and it took in $8 to $10 million. So
Wow.
in today's figures, that'd be a $25 million budget and a $350 or $375 million gross
Wow.
taken in. So that's a major hit, right?
Yeah.
So that's what it was back in there in comparison to what the money was worth.
So everybody wanted a Blue Hawaii.
Everybody wanted that, including him. They said, because his movies all of his movies made money, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And Flaming Star wasn't much singing, and it made money, but not that much. Loving You made some money. Jailhouse Rock made money, and King Creole. They all had those singing, but there was drama involved also.
Mm-hmm.
So when he made Flaming Star and Wild in the Country with hardly any singing, they didn't make as much money. And then he came out with Follow That Dream. He came out Blue Hawaii, which was a huge hit, biggest ever in his career. And then he came...
Paradise?
Yeah, Paradise White Style. And then before that, Girls, Girls, Girls. Every couple of years, Al Wallace was hoping to go to Hawaii, that location, and another story, and have the same success as Blue Hawaii, but it just didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
They made money, but they all made money more than the ones that he didn't sing in. You know, that didn't have a lot of hits, a lot of songs in the soundtrack.
So he got to really hate it?
Yeah, he got he didn't hate it because he just decided that all of us guys would have a lot of fun making them.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
We
Helen.
started doing that in 1960 when we went out there and started on GI Blues and then everything. And then when he because what you remember, Colonel there at the end, Colonel was just getting multiple contracts because that was security for Elvis. Because Elvis was concerned when he left to go in the Army because he had been hearing that he was a flash in the pan, that he wouldn't last and everything. And then when he had to go to the Army, people said, well, that's it right there. That's when he comes back, it's going to be a whole different thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
So he heard these things, and they concerned him. And
Sure it would.
exactly. So when he came back, and the Colonel's getting him signed to new contracts at MGM and Fox, United Artists, that Sam Kasman Productions out there, he's getting him signed up to a lot of pictures, and Elvis feels the security that, hey, he is not a has-been. You know, these people wouldn't be signing up for these movies with big money for 3 or 4 years in advance like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't able to do other movies. He had to live up to his contract. Well, people forget, if they'll look back and look at his first 4 pictures, how was Colonel or anybody else to know that they were going to get Elvis locked into a system because of one successful movie called Blue Hawaii? He couldn't know that.
Right.
Because Love Me Tender was different. Loving You was different. Jailhouse Rock was different. And King Creole. They had drama and they had music, except Love Me Tender didn't. That was his first movie, and it didn't have a whole lot of the title tune and everything, but there wasn't a lot of singing in that party thing that he did, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, Loving You was a musical drama, Jailhouse Rock musical drama, and King Creole, which was really taken from a book, The Rights of Stone for Danny Fisher,
Mm-hmm.
that Paramount actually bought for James Dean.
Mm-hmm.
They bought the rights for James Dean to star in it, but instead of growing up to be a singer, he grew up to be a fighter.
Right.
Elvis, they changed it where he becomes a singer.
Mm-hmm.
But they both worked bus boy and this and that in New Orleans, and everything else was pretty much the same. So they hired a great director and a great guy. So my point being, those 4 pictures, all different, making money. How are you supposed to know that there's going to be a movie come in somewhere in that first movie that you made in one of the first movies in a year or so after he got out of the Army and started fulfilling those contracts that Colonel got signed up for him?
Mm-hmm.
How was anyone to know that one of them was going to be so big that everybody kept trying to prove that that's the one they wanted to do? They wanted another Blue Hawaii.
Yeah.
And that's why he got tied into them, and that's why the scripts were the way they were. They were not great script writers that did them. They were all original, so they weren't taken from a great book.
Mm-hmm.
Like King Creole, taken from that Stone for Danny Fisher.
Some of them were so bad, Sonny. I mean, Hear 'em, Scare 'em, Sonny. I have never been able to sit through that whole show.
I know Harem, Scare 'em, and Kissing Cousins. Both of them by that Sam Kasman. They were like a 15-day shooting schedule or something like that.
Gee.
Is that all it took?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly, but it was much. It was probably half of what a regular picture that he did shooting-wise in weeks.
Oh, what stinkers.
I know, but he got big money. He got $500,000 for each picture and 50% of the gross.
Wow.
So,
And they made money.
yeah. So that's what I mean. So this is why the Colonel gets blamed for that, but you got to remember, too, that unless you were a big dramatic star like a Marlon Brando or Paul Newman or someone like that you didn't really usually think that, that you just didn't get some of them that wanted it weren't big enough, and they maybe got it later in their career, like when Steve McQueen got bigger. and became a star, he had script approval and probably director approval and everything else.
Well, now on some of those movies that he was offered during this time, who turned it down? Was it the Colonel that turned it down, or were they? I mean, if he was offered the movies, obviously they wanted him.
Yeah, and everything had to go through the Colonel to get to Elvis.
Exactly. And when someone comes up to him and offers him like True Grit or some of those other movies he was offered, Midnight Cowboy, they didn't have songs in them, and that's one reason because Colonel was making his money off the soundtracks too.
Also,
Mhm.
yes, that's the part people leave out. Yeah.
So what Sonny's saying there isn't, it's not that it's wrong. What he's saying, it's just not completely accurate, I should say.
Well, it's Sonny's perspective, you know.
Yeah,
So everybody's
yeah,
plus. I mean, you have Elvis saying when Sonny keeps saying, "Well, he made money. He made money." We hear Elvis and Epic saying, "No amount of money in the world could have made me happy to keep doing that."
yeah,
Mhm.
that's true. Yeah, it's a good point.
You
Wow.
know
Right.
something that Sonny said earlier. I'm digressing a little bit in terms of addiction. Um, I think also it's important to remember. I think my thoughts is this: if let's say hypothetically Elvis was absolutely 100% healthy, that he was never born with the inflictions that he was born with, and there was absolutely no need for him to take medication, I think he would have kicked the habit a lot easier.
Okay.
But it's I think it's very difficult. It must have been extremely difficult for him to kick the addiction habit, but at the same time still need certain medications to get him through the day in terms of um, not the medications he chose because of his addiction, but the medication he needed to take in order to stay alive.
Yeah, what's that what remark that they say in that interview that Elvis said, "I need him, man. I need him."
And I
Well,
think he had
I don't.
genuine pain. I think he had. I mean, we have plenty of people saying he would say, I hurt
Yeah,
so bad." Yeah.
yeah. He
Yeah.
wasn't. He wasn't saying I need him because I'm addicted to him. I
No.
need him because I hurt. Yeah, you're right, Damien. Exactly.
Hmm.
He was hurting. I
There's too
need
many
him,
people have said otherwise that he confided in them he was in pain.
man. Yeah.
So, and it's easy to say on the outside, well, just say no. Well, you're not the one up there turning and burning chewers and night after night, sometimes multiple shows a day. You're not the one doing that. You're throwing some
Mm,
towels on there, Delbert. Like, that's great, but you're
Yeah.
not being Elvis.
Yeah.
mm,
No.
Elvis and them had so many contracts that they had signed, and none of them had that in there because no one knew what was going to happen. The
I,
colonel
I
was
agree
very
with that.
smart, but he wasn't a damn genie. He couldn't see something in the future like that's going to happen. So that's another thing that I straighten out in my book. So don't blame him for those movies.
Right. So how was it? They just said, here's your next movie?
Huh?
Is this, no, how was it? It was like, here's your next movie, and you have no say at all?
No, here's the script that they sent for you for the next movie for Paramount. Here's the script that they sent for you. William Morris Agency would get the scripts, and they would send them to Colonel, and Colonel would turn them over to Ellis. Say, this is your next movie.
Oh.
MGM or United Artists or Fox, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm. And
And
what would Elvis say about him?
he said, yeah, I'll be ready. That was it. He had a very good mind on remembering dialogue.
He's back.
Yeah.
Read it one time and pretty much knew his lines.
Wow. Sonny, why were you and Red and Dave and that let go?
Well, I've never known the real reason.
Really?
In fact, I tried. I wanted Ellis to tell me why, because Vernon used the word cut back on expenses, but that wasn't it at all. I mean, he paid Ed Parker and he paid and Sam Thompson a salary, and so we were replaced by people. So it wasn't that.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that it was the lawsuits. Well, I only had one in 16 and a half years. I only had one lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when I was taken up for David Stanley, his stepbrother, because a guy was getting ready to beat him up and had drawn back to hit him when I nailed him and knocked him out.
Natalie, no, I think Sonny just covered that. He was handed the script. He didn't have final say so.
Oh, you hear Elvis talk about it in Epic too. He says,
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
have a choice."
yeah,
But then Elvis so eloquently says something changed, so I had to change it. Like he took ownership. Like I had to do something different, and he did. So
yeah,
mm.
yeah. Good.
And he sued
Of course.
up in Tahoe. So they all sue. They know Elvis not going to go to court and everything. So I'd heard that, and I thought that doesn't make sense. Red had 3 or 4 lawsuits there from getting into it with some people, but they were usually drunk people. They were not the fans that are just saying, Elvis, oh man, hey, they weren't that. They were smart ass people.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there at them, every one of them. I was there and broke it up and everything, and separated them and got the person away and out of the way. But so that didn't hold water with me.
Mm-hmm.
Then on the I'm talking about me here,
Right.
my situation. On the 4th of July, 9 days before I was let go, on the 4th of July, my wife was in California. She hadn't been to Memphis for some time, and I asked Elvis if I could fly her and Brian in. And, of course, I couldn't afford it to fly him in on his American Express card with American Airlines. And he said, yeah, absolutely. Because I never asked him to fly anything anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
We always flew with him, and he paid for all of us when we flew with him, but I didn't ask him for separate flights like that. And he said, absolutely. So I'd already asked him that. Well, on the 4th, I called her and asked her if she's all ready to come in, because the next day is my birthday, July the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
And her and Brian are flying in. We're going to spend a couple of weeks there, and then they're going back, and then I'm going to fly out and join Colonel on the pre-tour a couple of days early to start setting up the next tour. So on the 4th, when I called her and I asked her, she started crying. She said, I'm not coming. I said, what do you mean you're not coming? What's wrong? She said, I just got off the phone with Wally. His name was Wally Jones. He was a supervisor for American Airlines. He's the one we dealt with, all of us dealt with most of the time, Vernon and us guys, Joe and us, that set up flights. And that's who we dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what do you mean? She said, I called him to tell him that I hadn't received the tickets and everything, and he said that he was sorry, but Vernon had stopped it. And she said, what? He said, yes. He said, Judy, I'm sorry. He said that you and Brian were not on Elvis's expense account.
Wow.
And so she said, so I'm not. I said, no. I said, honey, don't. I'll talk with Elvis. I'm waiting on him to come in here to Fort Worth. When he gets here, I'll talk to him and get this straightened out. I don't know what happened. And so Elvis came in, and I said hi to him, helped him out of the car, got him up, got him up to his suite, and then said, we went to his bedroom. I said, Elvis, can I talk to you a minute? And he said, yeah. So he started taking his coat and everything off. And I said, I just got off the phone a little bit ago with Judy, and she, to come to Memphis. She says, yeah. And I said, well, she was upset and crying because she wasn't going to come. He said, why? I said, well, because she said that Wally had told her that your dad had said no to a ticket. He said, someone else must have done that, Sonny. I said, well, no. He said that your dad said that her and Brian weren't on your expense account and that he wasn't going to okay that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he said, well, sir, he said, I may have forgot to tell him. He said, we've been kind of taking care of that. Daddy's been taking care of that because some of the guys have been abusing that. And he said, I know you haven't. And I said, no, because some of the guys have girlfriends and this and that coming out on tour. So I said, he said, I'll talk to Daddy. It'll be okay. You tell Judy to go ahead and get ready and come on that flight tomorrow because it's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I left. I thought, that's fine. I went back and called Judy and told her that Elvis said it was his fault, that he had not called his daddy and told him because some guys had been abusing it. And she said, really? And I said, yeah. So I said, that's what it is. And I said, you can't pay attention to Vernon. He didn't like any of us.
Mm-hmm.
I said, Elvis loves us. And that's exactly what I told her. And she said, okay. So she did. And she was fine. And then about 2 hours later, Ricky Stanley comes to my door and knocks on the hotel door, and I open it, and he said, hey. I said, hey, Ricky. He came in, and he said, what'd you say to Elvis? I said, what do you mean, what did I say to Elvis? I thought, why is he asking that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, why? He said, because, boy, he's ranting and raving, saying you put his daddy down, and I said, what? I said, oh, wait a minute, I got to go over and straighten this out. So I went, I was going to go. He said, oh, he's out now. Nick gave him a shot. He's asleep. I said, okay. Well, I knew that I would be going to Tulsa, because the Elvis was going to come over there uh, to do the next show on the 4th there, and then we were going to go home. Oh, this was the 3rd, then I guess.
Mhm.
No, this was the 4th, because he was going to do the show that night and come into Memphis and do the show on the 5th there and close it out at the Coliseum. That was the end of the tour.
Mhm.
So I thought, well, I'll just talk to him about it when I see him, not for a show, but in Memphis. And when he came over to Tulsa, I reached in to help him out. And, hey, Sonny, I say, hey, boss, and got it out. Nothing. I thought, well, just let it go. He must have been upset about something else. And then, so that's why I wondered if that was it.
Mhm.
That had something to do 9 days later, 8 days later on the 13th. So I didn't bring it up, and then that night on my birthday, after he finished his show in Memphis, it was my birthday, and we get back out to the house. He's going up the stairs after the show, and I said, well, good night. I said, I'll see you in a few days, because he always would just hang out upstairs and everything after the show then for a few days, kind of unwind. And he said, yeah, okay. He said, oh, happy birthday, Sonny. I said, oh. I said, thanks. I said, by the way, I said, Judy, all the guys loved her dessert. She made great cakes and apple pie and peach pie.
Mhm.
So I said, Judy brought a birthday cake she made all the way from California. She carried it on the plane on her lap. So it's a big one. Would you want some of that? He said, oh, yeah. He said, Linda's going to bring me up some of that. I said, okay. So Linda did take a nice big piece up there, enough for 3 or 4 people, you know.
Mhm.
But so that was it. And then
Mm.
on the 13th, I was at the dentist, and Judy called me and said that Vernon had called there and asked for me. And I said, well, what's wrong? She said, I don't know. He went down and said he needs to talk to you. And I said, oh, okay. So I hung up and I called the house. And Vernon got on the phone, and I said, Mr. Preston, I said, Sonny. He said, yeah, okay, Sonny, yeah. I was trying to get in touch with you. I said, yeah. Judy called me and told me. I said, is anything wrong? 'Cause immediately I'm thinking something's wrong with Elvis.
Mhm.
And as far as I'm concerned, Elvis is out there at the house. I did not know he had already left and gone out to Palm Springs.
Mhm.
And that's when he told me. He said, well, he said, yeah, he said, I need to talk to you. I was wondering if you could stop by here. I need to tell you something. If you could stop by when you leave. I said, well, no, wait a minute, Mr. Presley. I said, please don't leave it at that. I said, you know, I could hear it. I'd like to hear it now. And he said, well, I'd rather tell you in person. I said, Mr. Presley, please. Now I'm really getting concerned.
Right.
And he said, well, he said, okay. He said, due to cost and everything, we're going to have to cut back on expenses, you know. So I'm thinking immediately, pay cut. I said, well, okay, so what does that mean? He said, well, we're going to have to let some people go. And I knew then.
Oh, Jesus.
And I said, and I'm one of those people, right? He said, well, yes, you are. He said, but there's others. I said, well, who else? He said, I'd rather not say. I'd rather tell them each personally. I said, okay. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Presley.
Wow, you were nice to him.
Yeah. And I said, I'll see you. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye. And I hung up. I was
Wow.
shocked.
Wow.
Dr. Hoffman finished working on me. I went back and told Judy. She cried. Why? And I said, I don't know why. So I found out that Elvis was gone, so I called out there to Palm Springs. And one of the guys, I swear I can't remember who answered it because I was still in a kind of a state of shock. And I asked if Elvis was up yet. And they said no. I said, okay. I said, I'll try back either later or tomorrow. Well, the next day I called back, and the number.
Natalie, was expenses the only reason for the firing? My opinion is no.
It depends on when they tell the story. So I mean, there's so many stories about it, even from Red.
Yeah.
Like
I,
Red
I
said, Monty's book. Well, busting in the door to get the drugs was the year before, so that probably wasn't. And it was Red said in Marty's book it was the lawsuits.
Mm.
I
So
agree. I
so
agree too.
whose story do you take? You know.
I agree too. I think behind the scenes there might have been other reasons too, in terms of um, maybe, I don't know. I'm putting myself here in about as neutral position as I possibly can, but I think in a way, Sonny had a certain way of being able to talk to Elvis as well as maybe 2 or 3 other guys. in terms of getting to tell Elvis what was really going on without sugarcoating shit. And maybe to a certain extent, um, they didn't want Elvis to have that freedom of speech and freedom of thought to actually know what was really going on, to kind of keep him, um, how can I say this? Um,
Out of the loop.
yes,
Control.
yes, to try and to keep as much control over him as they possibly could, and by having people like Sonny around, it might have made that process difficult.
Yeah. Natalie, I think with expenses and him being rough with them being rough with the fans, that goes hand in hand because there were lawsuits.
Yeah.
That's all
Hmm.
kind of wrapped up into one
Ends
scapegoat.
up ends up with money at the end of the day.
I think
Yeah.
it would be a little bit of both. I mean, we know all know Vernon, was
Yeah.
odd. So he did not mind getting rid of the three. So we don't know what he said to Elvis, but the Elvis complaining to Vernon saying that he said something about that. That kind of gets me like, what the hell? Why would Elvis do that?
Yeah.
And I think, unfortunately, too, as it became evident later, there was a lot of infighting. So
Hmm.
I think a lot of the time, uh, like something Sonny said about Ricky going in and saying, "Oh yeah, that he'd said this and that about Elvis and all the rest of it." I think a lot of the time
Hmm.
that was happening too. Is that someone would look at a situation and go, "Okay, I don't like the way this is going to play out, so let's throw a spanner in the works here."
Yeah.
I mean, if you really look at it, what motivation did somebody like Ricky have for going to Sonny and saying, "Oh yeah, but the story is going around that you badmouthed Elvis and all the rest of it," other than to achieve some sort
You're in the
of,
thought.
yes, some sort of personal, okay, but this is going to happen and I don't really want this to happen. So let's create a little bit of a shitstorm here. And we
Hmm.
place Elvis in the middle. Elvis is not going to come out and address it directly, because, quite frankly, he's got too much other shit to worry about than the infighting shit. That's also a possibility.
Yeah. That's a very good point.
Yeah, I've read a lot of stuff that about the infighting with them, and let's I want to be the first. The I want to be the first to go to Elvis, or
Mhm.
it's just it was
Yeah.
games. If it got to the point where these guys didn't need to be together anymore, because all they
Hmm.
did was affect the whole process.
Yeah.
And once
And
again, at the end of the day, it's about the dollar bill, and there's nothing wrong with that. They can't just keep people around for the sake of paying them, even if you don't have money coming in. So
Yeah.
you got to look at that aspect of it, and then you got to look at, okay, who are the ones that are causing us the expenses? Well, shit, we got 5 lawsuits on us right now.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Am I going to allow this? To tell the other guys, hey, it's okay. If you get sued, that's okay. We'll take care of it. Nah.
Exactly. Plus, Elvis had sold his royalties a couple years before that.
Oh yeah.
Money's not free flowing like it was. He's sick. He's not. I think a lot of people saw the writing on the wall. Unfortunately.
Well, why was he paying for all the families in that? I mean,
Exactly.
things were tight. I mean, you're getting paid. You have a job. You should have to take care of it yourself. Plus,
Yeah.
who Maxie says I will have to check. I'm sorry.
Check the calendar.
Now, did Ricky actually tell Sonny that, or is it just Sonny saying it?
Right.
Do we know that story from anywhere else about Ricky?
Yeah, we're gonna have to we're going to
Yeah.
cross reference.
Yeah.
that's also true. That's also possible.
Yeah.
I think, like I said earlier, had there ever been a situation where Elvis had come to a point and said, "Okay, enough of this shit. Get everyone in the living room. We're gonna talk about all this shit now. We're gonna start at point A and end up wherever this takes us, and throw everyone into that room and say, okay, what the fuck's going on here? This so and so said this about this. So and so said this about that."
Mm.
I think if that had ever happened, uh, a lot of the shit would have been sorted out there and then. But then back at the ranch too, you've got you've got a house full of grown ass guys.
Yes.
Now Elvis has to call a quote unquote family meeting to sort out infighting when he's having to worry about where the next paycheck's going to come in
Yeah,
from.
exactly.
I would have also said, you know what, I'm paying people to do this. For example, his father, for example, Marty Lacker, etc., etc. He might have just thought, you know what, I'm paying people to sort out the shit, so just let them sort it out. And whatever they come and tell me, that's it. I'm just not going to deal with this petty shit all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some of Elvis's best qualities were also his worst enemies.
yeah,
Yes.
He didn't like confrontation,
No.
and his heart was just he wanted to help everybody.
yeah,
So, great qualities. But I tell you what, it will come back and bite you in the ass. And if you're trying to run a business or make the right decisions, and the right decisions, in my opinion, were to clean house,
yeah.
starting with the manager.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and no, you can't police personalities or immature people, and exactly that's why things
Exactly.
happen the way they happen because he he was having to deal with a lot of shit. Most of the shit people around him didn't even know of because those were just the times. He didn't discuss everything. He wasn't an open book, as was the culture in those days, and to some extent still is today. People don't talk about everything in their lives. They're not absolutely 100% transparent with everybody, which and that's fair enough. But at the same time, too, it's all
Mm.
Elvis is no longer here, so we can no longer go to the source and say, okay, what was really happening?
Yeah.
We have we have a certain situation, and there are 15 to 20 people involved, and with each one of those people, there's going to be a difference of perception. And when you have a difference of perception, you have a difference of opinion.
Hmm. Perception
E-
is reality, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right, guys, walk to it.
Been changed.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so I thought, well, okay. So we're making plans to leave. So Dave leaves to go out there, and he stops off in Vegas, and he goes out to Dr. Gannam's house. That's where Elvis was. He had left Palm Springs because we knew he was there. And see, he didn't want a confrontation with us, not physically thinking we would do something, but he didn't want us in front of him asking him why.
Right, right.
Tell this or that. He didn't want that.
So he kept ducking you.
Yeah. So he went over to Gannam's where he had the privacy, a gate-guarded community over there that Dr. Gannam had, and he had his own room there. But Gannam, I don't know if it's his own room or if it's just a room that Gannam used and let Elvis use when he was there. I never was sure on it. I just know that it was upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a master bedroom up there. So Dave found out, so he topped off, went over there to Gannam's, and the guard knew him. He knew us at work fellas, and he went on in up to the door, and they opened, and he said, "Hey guys, how y'all doing?" And just kind of walked on in. No one was going to stop him. Who's going to stop him? He's 7th-degree black belt, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he talked to him a little bit, and they told me that was. He said, "Well, I just want to come by, and if he was up, I was going to say so long and how much I enjoyed the time that I was with him and everything. So you guys can go ahead and tell him that, and I'll just go ahead and leave. I'm on my way back home to California." And they said, "Oh, okay." They were glad to see him go. He could feel the relief, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So he left, and he went and called me. He said, "Sonny, he's at Dr. Gannam's." I just left there. He said, "The guys acted weird, man." I said, "Oh, Dave, one thing you haven't been around enough to know yet, that when you're out, everyone's against you in the group."
Really?
Oh, yeah. So I went ahead, except one time. That's when Elvis hit me for no reason. And then no one was against me at that time. And he was sorry he did it, too.
It was just an accident, or you just got
No,
pissed?
it was on purpose. We got into an argument. I'll tell you that in a minute.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so I called. Dr. Gannam answered the phone. And I said, "Elias, how are you?" He says, "Who's that?" I said, "Sonny." He said, "Hey, Sonny." I said, "How you doing?" He said, "Pretty good." I said, "Look, I know that Elvis is there. Is he up yet?" He said, "Oh, yeah, he just got through eating." I said, "Oh, okay. Would you go ask me to tell him I was just calling. I talked to him for a second, asked him something. He said, yeah. He put the phone down and went up, but came back a couple of minutes later and he said that he doesn't want to talk to you right now. And I said, okay. I said, well, Elias, he may be thinking that I'm going to ask my job back, which I'm not calling to do. I said, his dad told me it was a cutback on expenses. I know that's not true. Not where Red and I are concerned today, the security, his main security force. So I know that that's one thing that Elvis would not cut back on. He may cut back on some of those fillets or whatever, but not us. So there's another reason. I just wanted to ask him, tell him I'm not asking my job back. I just want to know, he can tell me in one sentence, the reason that I was let go, fired. He said, okay. So I said, in fact, Elias, he'll tell you to tell me. That'd be fine. You can tell me. He said, okay. So he left. He came back and said, he doesn't want to discuss it.
Jesus.
Okay. I said, would you do me a favor? He said, sure. Because Elias and I, got along fine. I said, just tell him that I said goodbye and I won't be calling back. He said, okay.
Wow.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I see you, Joe.
That was it.
I still think a lot of this was Vernon.
Yes.
I think once Vernon got a hold of this, we're having problems here. Elvis, we got to get rid of him. Yeah, we're going to lose everything. A lot of that was Vernon. What should have been done? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think also remember, guys, it's important to remember here that we're not talking about a strictly employer-employee relationship here. We can't look at it like that. We can't look at it from the perspective that Sonny and the guys were working for Elvis and Elvis was their boss and that's black on white and period. You can't look at it like that. We're talking about guys that have come up with Elvis 12 to 15 years, sometimes even longer. These are friends. These are people that they knew each other intimately. They were part of each other's lives on both ends of the fence. And it's very easy to say things like, yeah, but you're not going to call up a boss after he's fired you to get your job back. But when you're talking about a friend, you're going to do that. And when you're really concerned about someone, which I believe in many instances, Sonny and Red were they were really concerned about Elvis, and I think a lot of the time they also were able to see certain situations like we've just stated, like certain things were going on and Vernon would mention something, and I can absolutely 100% agree and hear Elvis saying something like that, he take care of it. Like, don't come to me with this niggly shit. I pay you to sort it out. But unfortunately, believing that his father would do the honorable thing as he would like to have been done, I think in many instances his father betrayed his trust in that sense too. Because we all know how tight Vernon was with the dollar.
It's always a
And
bad ingredient to have a, a, an employee-employer relationship with friends.
yes,
It just very rarely works.
These
yes.
guys lived together. They slept a room away. I mean,
Yeah, it just it's not conducive for a great environment to have a successful business.
and
But
Joe, I'm sorry.
but sorry, Joe. But then again, if you take the size of who Elvis was and still is, how do you create that strictly um, working relationship without becoming involved on a personal level to
Same,
some
the
extent?
same way he did with the band.
As much time as they spent together. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
but
did it with a band.
yeah,
He
but the
hired
band,
people that weren't friends before, and he developed a relationship with them that was friendly and personal, but they were employees, period. And what he did is he brought in people that he knew before he became famous. These were people that some of them he grew up with, and some of them he met in the army, and they became friends before they became employees. And yeah, they do it all the time. There's the entertainment world does it all the time. These people hire outsource because they know they don't have to worry about that that. You know,
Yeah, but to be fair too, back in the day, with as big as Elvis was, um, would he have really employed people that he didn't know from a bar of soap to protect him and protect his interest?
well,
I don't,
I mean,
I don't
with
think
his
so.
personality, yeah, it with his the way he was as a human, yeah,
Mm,
I see your point is valid, but
mm.
to make it work, you got
Yes,
take a look at the examples of other people that were, I don't want to say peers, but were big superstars. They did it.
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra, the
mm,
Beatles, you know, they did, you know, they didn't hire their schoolmates to you know to take care of security and stuff like that. They were employees.
yeah.
But Elvis, but you know, we're looking at Elvis as from the perspective of who he was, you know, and all these other people are. I don't compare Frank Sinatra in that aspect because Elvis is heads far above a human being than any of those people were.
Yeah, and I think at the same time too, this is where Elvis's upbringing and his loyalty comes into play.
Yeah,
This is where you stated earlier that it's good to have loyalty. It can
yeah,
protect you, it can uplift you, but at the same time, it's a double-edged sword because
yeah.
if as much as it can protect you, it can also be the final death blow. And I think in many instances, in Elvis's case, it was.
Yeah, I think in agreement with what you're saying, when you take it as with Elvis, he couldn't do that. It
No.
just was the way it was. The
Mm.
right thing was to do it, and it could have been done in a
Yes.
normal situation, and that's the
Yes.
point I'm trying to make.
Well,
Yes.
You're valid in what you're saying,
Ag-
absolutely.
Agree. Agree. And maybe, we have to put it out there and say maybe Elvis came to that realization towards the end. Maybe those were the changes that he was alluding to.
Yeah.
Maybe he had at some point looked at this whole situation in the silence of his own mind without external influence. Maybe he looked at the situation from that perspective and said, you know what? The only way I'm going to keep this ship going is to literally do a complete overhaul and clean out from corner to corner.
Yeah.
You know,
And also,
he'd gotten to the point, I think too, along that line, all through the '60s and all that, they were a bunch of schoolmates having fun, doing
yeah,
movies and all that. But once it got to that window of time when all of a sudden it was going to reflect on his name with the lawsuits and things like that, that'll change somebody's perspective right away. He doesn't.
Friends or not. Yeah.
He didn't care about them spending the money. I don't
no,
think he really cared about that. But when it
no.
came down to him, the most important thing to him was how people looked at him. Remember what his most famous question was? Will they remember me? Well,
Yes.
yeah, but you know, he wanted to be remembered for what he loved doing and as a
How
person.
are they going to remember him?
You
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah,
instead
yeah.
of going out and having your whole career ruined because the guys that you work for are bringing shame on your name and
Yeah.
shame on them.
I remember then that you were hearing about lawsuits coming up, and that so it was affecting him. But
Yeah,
we keep using the word friends in that for the guys that lived in Graceland. I would put it more as family.
Hmm.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Way beyond employees.
Yeah, no.
Had to,
You're right. They really weren't employees. They
Mhm.
were family just having fun and taking care of the things that, you
They
know,
were family with paychecks.
Yeah.
there you go. Perfect.
Cars and houses and a lot of
Respectfully said.
Yeah.
But, maybe those were the kind of changes that were coming. And also to be fair, we have to remember how quickly the Elvis world moved. And unfortunately, it's been proven through other instances as well, through other people that were around him. Um, and I think a lot of the guys knew this too, to be factual. They knew that Elvis wasn't always given the complete story. He would make a decision based on the facts that he was given. And I think a lot of the time, most of the people around him would only give him certain facts if it advanced a certain narrative, or
Benefited them. Yeah.
if it benefited them. And everybody unfortunately looks at that situation and goes, "Oh yeah, but Elvis was dumb. He made look at the decision he made here, or look at the decision he made there." No, I disagree. Elvis made decisions based on the information he got. And everybody at some point in their life gets put into those kind of situations where they go, okay, but if I tell absolutely 100% of the truth here, my parents' decision making process is going to be different. I mean, if you as a kid know that, yeah, my buddy at school bust my bike because he was mad at me, my dad's going to buy me a new bike, right? But if I go home and say to my dad, yeah, my buddy at school bust my bike because I told him his sister is a dumbass,
Right. Right.
that completely changes the outcome. And I think in many instances, a lot of the time, that's what happened. The
Yeah.
guys, the guys, or Vernon, or whoever would tell Elvis half truths to benefit themselves or to get him to make a certain decision in a certain direction.
Yeah.
Well,
All
and
right.
I go back to the Red West phone call with Elvis, where Elvis tells Red, "Well, Sonny hasn't even been around that much." So where does that
Ooh,
fall
yeah.
into play?
Wow.
The thing
Yeah.
where Elvis tries to kind of low key warn Red, "Well, Dave talks shit about all of you," and Red just like blows right over it. He was like, Dave doesn't like anybody. He talks about all of you. The only one he likes, I think he said, was Dean. So I think
Mm.
Elvis was trying to be like, "Hey, dude, that guy you're collaborating with right now, he doesn't like you." But Red was like, "Oh, okay, well." I mean, just didn't even pick up what Elvis was laying down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Sonny wasn't around that much the last year, then was he still getting paid every week?
No. All right. I hate to do this. We got to get moving along. You got anything,
Yeah,
Joe, before we move right along? That was a good.
that's a good discussion.
That was a good discussion. Well, it all started with a question from Natalie, didn't it?
Hmm.
All right. Good one. Thanks, guys. Let's move.
That
I'll
was
shut
it.
up now.
Get
I
all
love that
done.
coat he's wearing.
And then I found out later from Linda Thompson that Elvis had told his dad to give us enough money to live on for a couple of months, and the figure was like $5,000 or something.
Mm-hmm.
He said not just a couple, he said for 2 or 3 months, and said he was going to hire Red and I back, but he felt that he had become a money figure to Dave, and I don't know where he got that from. Dave didn't look at him as a money figure out. Dave loved him. He wasn't around as long as we did, but he loved him.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, instead of doing that, he gave us 3 days notice and 1 week's pay.
Jesus.
That's it.
Wow.
That's it.
You never really knew.
No. So I still don't know the real reason why. I don't know if it was a combination of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I did hear someone said, well, if you're going to fire Red, you better go ahead and fire Sonny because you might have problems with him over Red being gone or something,
Mm-hmm.
But I really believe with all my heart that it was us confronting him over and over about his
Really?
of the drugs. I will go to my grave doing that because no one can tell me any different except Elvis.
Mm-hmm.
Elvis would have to tell me, this is why I fired you, Sonny. It was a combination of this. You and Red were talking about this, and then the damn lawsuits or the this or that. I would. That's who I would accept from because he's the only one that knows. I wouldn't even believe if Vernon was alive.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even believe him.
Really?
I know what he's like. He said, well, Elvis wanted you to do because he wouldn't tell us that about the drugs. He wouldn't tell us about us being in Elvis's face. He'd say probably just the lawsuits or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I just believe that that's the real reason why. And then, of course, people said we did it for the money. And, we were offered to come up with a figure not to do the book.
Right.
But that would have been a buyout, Joe, just like the doctors were being bought off.
Mm-hmm.
You buy him a new Cadillac, they gave me anything he wanted. So that was going to put us in the same category. Our jobs were important to us, and we loved them, but we loved him more, and we took our shot at just staying at him to stop what he was doing. Because there at the end, when he was insulting Kathy Westmoreland and the Sweets, that was not Elvis.
Right.
That was the stuff he was on that was making him do that. He was becoming a colder, more angry person or something. I don't know what it was doing because Steroids will make you mean. What's that one thing that you take? Cortisone
Mm-hmm.
will make you mean. Just
Mm-hmm.
taking cortisone
Demerol
tablets
did the
throat.
same.
Yeah.
Was he sick? Was he sick, or do you think it was prescription drugs that was making him sick?
I think that
Both.
prescription drugs, the number of downers that he was taking, definitely lowers your metabolism, and everything doesn't work like it should, because those drugs work on your nervous system. They're not like a hypnotic sleeping pill that works on just your mind.
Mm-hmm.
These things numb. I mean, they take away feelings in nerves and things in your body. And nerves, of course, run through everything you've got.
Mm-hmm.
They run through your kidneys, through your liver. There's nerves everywhere in your body.
Wonder really how much at that time period that Sonny and them really understood or really knew about how the inflictions that Elvis had.
I don't
I don't think Elvis even knew, or the doctors at
know.
that time really knew because of technology. I know Amy, you got your medical background. What do you think? I just think that,
Well, again, to that Red West, I mean, I always like to take Elvis's words when we can.
yeah,
And he's telling Red he's got that colon issue and he got it straightened out. And so I think there was a little bit of sharing that.
yeah.
I think he had it flipped manually in office from what I read in Dr. Nick's notes, which that just makes me pucker even.
Oh, I know.
God. So I think he was trying to say, like, yeah, man, it's chicken or egg. I think he had some colon issues, but then obviously the narcotics doesn't help that ever.
Right.
You,
Um,
to add to what Amy is also saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, Amy, but we also have to remember that when you're taking more than one medication for whatever reason, you're treating more than one ailment.
mhm.
You're taking more medications at any specific time. You're going to have polypharmacy. The one's going to act against the next, and because of that interaction, it's going to create other problems. And I think in Elvis's case, a lot of the time that was the problem. He was taking one or two or three medications to treat certain individual ailments, but the combination of the three medications at the same time was creating different problems. And
Another
I
issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
agree.
and I think when you faced with those kind of situations as a doctor or as a medical practitioner, it becomes even more difficult to control conditions that you're not even aware of, because number one, they haven't been named yet. Number two, not enough research has been done on them. And number three, now you have uh, a combined situation where you've got multiple medications working against said conditions, creating another condition that you also have no clue of. So what are you doing basically? At the end of the day, you're going through a tunnel blind.
Well, and number four, your doctor is benefiting hugely financially from you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Because unfortunately, being a doctor, even in those days, even more so today, uh, being a doctor is a business. It's no longer about keeping the patient healthy and making sure the patient lives the most healthiest life possible. Back then and even today, it's become a business. The longer they can keep you sick, the longer they can keep you on medication, the
Yeah.
more money they make.
It's it's
Plain and simple.
it's palliative care. It's not to get you well. It's to just
Yeah,
cycle
yeah.
going. Natalie, depending on what he was taking, how much of the
Know what
medication
it
was he
is.
taking? I have no way. Ask
I don't know
Delta.
what's going on with the
Delta would
phone.
know.
Hold on.
This is ridiculous.
Sorry.
I was just trying to answer now. I don't know how much he would take of each one. How many was in those packets that were doled out, and it's hard to say.
I
Yeah.
mean, if I have to speak from personal experience, at one stage, my dad was taking in excess of 18 pills a day,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because of his medical issues, and all the rest of it. Once he started doing his own research together with family members in our family, they were eventually able to get his medications down to three. And they, through that process, realized that by taking as many medications as he was taking, so he was taking medications to combat symptoms that the
On the other,
poly. Yes.
Mask this to mask this. It's all
Yeah.
about masking. Okay,
Yeah.
take two aspirin, go to bed.
Yeah.
Basically,
and don't call me tomorrow. Just keep, yeah.
Yeah, I got.
Yeah.
Melissa says there's an element of control in this as well. They've all made statements about how Elvis was easier while medicated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good
For
point.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
We
got.
all.
I got to keep my hand off my mouth. That's what happened. I clicked this over another scene and it turned everything on. So sorry about that, guys. Um, hey Joe. He has a fit with
No wonder I couldn't get into mustache. God, Jesus, they're talking right over top of
Oh,
me.
your mic was
you.
off.
Well, I asked you if you had anything earlier, and you go no.
No,
I didn't hear you say no, but because you were
no.
no, no, no.
I wonder if they even knew back then because I just had problems where I'm on meds that I was taking that counteracted the other med and stopped it from working.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You
that
know,
was my problem with meds. They had me on Coumadin, and it wasn't a good thing for me. And that's why I wound up having a tamponade.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I literally died for 6 minutes from it because the Coumadin interacted with something
Mhm.
because I had an ablation to fix irregular heartbeat,
Oh.
and then they had me on Coumadin for a while. And the day I was supposed to be taken off, well, anyways, that's a different story. But it interacted, and then during that period of time of taking Coumadin, it interacted with something else and rotted out my freaking teeth. And
Mm.
it's like in the long run, it never nothing worked because I went through all that and it never fixed the ablation and
Never
never
fixed
fixed
it. Yeah.
the
God.
AFib. So it's just like, and this is technology today. We're talking
Right.
50, 40 some years after Elvis died when this all happened, and it's an ongoing process. But you're right, Cam. The doctor world is a business now because everyone's wanting to. Why sit there and watch TV? That's why they freaking don't watch anymore. It's because these doctors are selling these things that they created to solve this and this, and I'm doctor this and this, and I do,
you
and
want,
it's like it's sickening.
you want a good sex life? Take tea and put it in this and watch this video for $25, and I can help you. Your woman will be sore. They do it. None of those doctors are real. They're not real.
We could speak from.
I say whatever I want to say. I
Well,
don't.
I know we just went from Elvis to sex. And I don't know how we did that.
I mean, to me, those two things go together. So it's fine.
Yeah, there we go. I'm sorry. Okay,
The, the,
uh,
the,
I'll
the
be
three
back.
of us the three of us can speak from experience. I mean, how many of us have gone to a doctor and said, right, we have this problem, we had that problem, we battle with arthritis, for example. The doctor's going to say, okay, take pill number this. Then I'm going to go to the doctor and say, I battle with depression. He's going to say, okay,
Oh,
take this.
I,
And then I go with this, and he says, no, take that. I found one medication that works for all three. And that's the problem. People say, oh, yeah, but this and that. What's the medication? The medication is cannabis oil or gummies.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Gummies fix everything.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
and,
You know
and,
what? When my
and
dad passed away, and I got up to the house, and I was going through his room clearing up some of his personal items, and I looked at the pill bottles sitting on his counter, and there were 21 different pill bottles.
Yeah.
And I lost it. I totally lost. I turned to my mom. I didn't go off on her, but I said, I want the name of the doctor that he's been seeing. I am going to be giving him a call while I'm here. I said, and better yet, give me his address.
mhm,
And I went and saw him. And I told him, I asked him to explain every one of those drugs he gave. And he said, well, he was complaining about this, so I gave him this. He complained about this, and I gave him this.
mhm.
It's no wonder he, anyway, anyway, sorry. I don't know who was talking. I didn't mean to
Me.
interrupt. Okay.
No, it's okay. And but then again, like why doesn't it get marketed today? Why do people say, "Oh, you're taking cannabis oil because it helps you with this, it helps you with that"? My friend that passed away in December, he was an advocate of it. He did a course. He did a course where he learns about all these natural substances. And when he got onto cannabis oil, a year and a half ago, 65% of his prescribed medications by a doctor he threw away.
Yeah.
He very early on realized that many of the medications that he was taking, that he was prescribed by a doctor, them working together either exacerbated his diabetes and the conditions associated with that,
Yeah.
and in many instances, those medications work together or they didn't even work at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he got to the point within the last 14 months of his life, he told me, I'm not taking any more medications prescribed to me by a doctor. There is a natural remedy for this. And unfortunately, a lot of the damage was already done. So, but why don't they advertise it? Why do we get told, oh no, you have to do this or you have to do that? Because exactly,
You know, we
being a
laugh.
medical
Money.
doctor is a business.
We
It's
laugh
no,
at some of these movies that have that go back before prescriptions and stuff like that, where they have all these remedies like that. All they take some mud and they put some spit in it, or whatever they do. They
Mhm.
create some kind of concoction that heals them.
yeah,
I mean, whether you believe in creation or whatever, the we're from the earth, so
yes,
that our healing, natural healing, is on this earth,
comes from,
and
yes.
you
Yeah.
find it, and it works. But you know what? Doctors don't make money off the pop. Well, maybe they do.
Well, and bigger than that, the FDA doesn't. It's all a
Yeah.
cycle.
Yeah.
Bingo.
It's all, yeah.
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 Are you on mute, mute, Joe, or do you have
I'm
something?
just listening. I just
Okay. All
he's
right.
gonna he's gonna bust my ass. I can be glad I'm thousands of miles away from him, because if I wasn't, he'd probably give me a slap upside the head.
Oh, he'll say something to you. It'd be worse than a
Oh
slap.
yeah, no, I know.
We love Joe.
Everyone's against you in the group.
Really?
Oh, yeah. So I went ahead, except one time. That's when Elvis hit me for no reason. And then no one was against me at that time. And he was sorry he did it, too.
It was just an accident, or you just got
No,
pissed?
he did it on purpose. We got into an argument. I'll tell you that in a minute.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so
I didn't go far enough.
I called. Dr. Ganem answered the phone. And I said, Elias, how are you? He says, who's that? I said, Sonny. He said, hey, Sonny. I said, how you doing? He said, pretty good. I said, look, I know that Elvis is there. Is he up yet? He said, oh, yeah, he just got through eating. I said, oh, okay, would you go ask me to tell him I just called, I just need to, I talked to him for a second, ask him something. He said, yeah. He put the phone down and went up, came back a couple of minutes later and he said that he doesn't want to talk to you right now. And I said, okay. I said, well, Lars, he may be thinking that I'm going to ask my job back, which I'm not calling to do. I said, his dad told me it was a cutback on expenses. I know that's not true. Not where Red and I are concerned today, the security, his main security force. So I know that that's one thing that Elvis would not cut back on. He may cut back on some of those fillets or whatever, but not us. So there's another reason I just wanted to ask him. Tell him I'm not asking my job back. I just want to know, he can tell me in one sentence, the reason that I was let go, fired. He said, okay. I said, in fact, Elias, he'll tell you to tell me. That would be fine. You can tell me. He said, okay. So he left. He came back and said, he doesn't want to discuss it.
Jesus.
Okay. I said, would you do me a favor? He said, sure. Because Elias and I, got along fine. I said, just tell him that I said goodbye and I won't be calling back. He said, okay. Bye-bye. And I hung up. That was it.
That was it.
They really
Yeah,
weren't
done.
fired. They were let go.
And then I found out
Pardon?
They really weren't fired. They were let go and given the reason because of the lack of money in it. But yet he uses the word fired.
It's more of like a layoff.
Like a permanent layoff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good point. I never thought
A
of it that way.
downsizing, what we call it now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's yeah.
But fired is more dramatic.
It is. Yeah.
Peter from Linda Thompson that Elvis had told his dad to give us enough money to live on for a couple of months, and the figure was like $5,000 or something. He said not just a couple, he said for 2 or 3 months, and said he was going to hire Red and I back, but he felt that he had become a money figure to Dave, and I don't know where he got that from. Dave didn't look at him as a money figure out. Dave loved him. He wasn't around as long as we did, but he loved him.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, instead of doing that, he gave us 3 days notice and 1 week's pay.
Jesus.
That's it.
Wow.
That's it.
And you never really knew.
No. So I still don't know the real reason why. I don't know if it was a combination of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I did hear someone said, well, if you're going to fire Red, you better go ahead and fire Sonny, because you might have problems with him over Red being gone or something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I really believe with all my heart that it was us confronting him over and over about his
Really?
of the drugs. I will go to my grave doing that, because no one can tell me any different except Elvis.
Mm-hmm.
Elvis would have to tell me, this is why I fired you, Sonny. It was a combination of this. You and Red were talking about this, and then the damn lawsuits, or the this or that. I would. That's who I would accept from, because he's the only one that knows. You know, I wouldn't even believe if Vernon was alive.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even believe him.
Really?
I know what he's like. He said, well, Elvis wanted you to do, because he wouldn't tell us that about the drugs. He wouldn't tell us about us being in Elvis's face. He'd say probably just the lawsuits or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I just believe that that's the real reason why. And then, of course, people said we did it for the money. And, you know, we were offered to come up with a figure not to do the book.
Right.
But that would have been a buyout, Joe, just like the doctors were being bought off.
Mm-hmm.
You buy them a new Cadillac, they gave me anything you wanted. So that was going to put us in the same category. Our jobs were important to us, and we loved them, but we loved him more, and we took our shot at just staying at him to stop what he was doing. Because there at the end, when he was insulting Kathy.
Sorry, we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago. You remember?
Yeah.
I said that maybe this was for them. It was the last-ditch effort to get him to realize, hey, I'm hurting myself here. Like we said weeks ago for Amy's benefit, we said that, you know, sometimes you do certain things in your life and your friends come to you and they talk about it with you, and you're like, yeah, you know, this, that, and the next thing. But in the back of your mind, you think, you're not going to heed the warning because it's coming from a certain person. But if somebody outside the setup comes and they talk to you about the same thing, it's going to hit you in a different way, and then you're going to go, okay, maybe I do need to look at the situation, whatever the situation may be. And we were talking about it, and we said the same thing, that maybe Red and Sonny felt that, you know, we've tried to talk to him about this for the longest time, but he doesn't seem to understand our point of concern. Maybe if it comes from somebody outside, from a different source, maybe he's going to look at it and realize the magnitude of the situation. And unfortunately for Red and Sonny, they went to the worst possible outlet. They went to the worst possible mouthpiece, and it backfired.
Yeah.
You know, we have to also, in terms of, we all know that one of the hardest things Elvis could do was say sorry. And, you know, as much as Sonny is talking about it and saying that Elvis was never able to come to him direct and say, ABC, XYZ, this is why it happened. Maybe after the fact, Elvis realized, okay, the way that this situation was handled was incorrect. But maybe he felt so terribly bad about it, but at the same time, didn't quite know how to go back and say sorry.
Yeah. All right. That's yeah, I remember that conversation. All right, here we go. We've got 14 minutes on this video left. And I know where he played
That was
some
not
of them.
Elvis.
Right.
That was the stuff he was on that was making him do that. He was becoming a colder, more angry person or something. I don't know what it was doing, because he was, you know, steroids will make you mean. What's that one thing that you take? Cortisone
Mm-hmm.
will make you mean.
Mm-hmm.
He was taking cortisone stuff for his throat.
Was he sick? Was he sick, or do you think it was prescription drugs that was making him sick?
I think that prescription drugs, the number of downers that he was taking definitely lowers your metabolism and everything. Doesn't work like it should because those drugs work on your nervous system. They're not like a hypnotic sleeping pill that works on just your mind.
Mm-hmm.
These things numb. I mean, they take away feelings in nerves and things in your body. And nerves, of course, run through everything you've got.
Mm-hmm.
They run through your kidneys, through your liver. There's nerves everywhere in your body.
Yeah.
And so I really think that contributed a whole lot
Mm-hmm.
to his decline in health. That had a tremendous lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Because look at poor Howard Hughes, the same thing. Look how he wasted away. He was staying out of it on a lot of that. We heard he was taking like heroin and stuff.
Really?
Oh, yeah, that he was shooting
Howard
stuff.
Hughes was a whack
And
job.
he was just in such pitiful shape.
What did I... you were going to tell me about the day he slapped you, or hit you.
No, I didn't slap. He hit me. He all tried to punch me out.
About what year was this?
It was in 1961,
Oh, that was early.
right after we come back from Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
We're shooting the interiors in the sound stage there at Paramount. You know, we shot the location stuff over there, but the interiors of the clubs and the office that he worked at, the travel agency, all that stuff were sets on the sound stage there in Hollywood at Paramount. So we had just come back about a week or so, and we had 2 or 3 weeks of shooting there. And Tuesday Well, he had been seeing her since a while in the country, and so she came up to the house, and she brought a girl named Kay with her that was a nurse, very attractive woman, and so I started talking to her at the wet bar that was in the den there, and we're sitting on the stool talking, and Tuesday at that time was young, and she drank a little bit. She even got sillier, you know, made her silly. So Elvis, in order to cope with that, he would have a couple of drinks too, so he'd be silly with her, you know what I mean? Because he didn't handle his alcohol very good either, Joe.
Yeah.
The Smith side of him didn't handle it very well. But it sometimes did other things to him. So on his way to his room to use the bathroom or something, he stopped over by the bar, which was close to the door that goes to his bedroom, and he leaned in between us, and said, "Damn, you're cute." And he gave her a little peck. And she kind of flushed, and he grinned, and he walked on and went into his room. She kind of flushed up a little bit and said, I said, "Yeah, all right." So we started talking again. Well, a little bit later, he came back over there, and this time he leaned in, and he started really laying a big kiss on her mouth. And those arms of hers come up around his back and neck, and I'm sitting there with his back to her. Oh, that's it. It's done. So I eased off the the stool there at the bar, and I went over and first stopped off at Allen and Tuesday, and she's just giggling. She's watching at Allen and said, "Wow, man," shot down. I said, "Yeah." You know, and I went on over to Gene Smith, Elvis's cousin, over on the couch, and sat down next to him, and Elvis kissing that girl over there still, and Gene does that grin when I sit down next to him. He said, "Burnt." That was one of our statements that we used to say then. And I said, "To a crisp, man." And I leaned over to him quietly, because I didn't want the girl sitting next to him to hear, and I didn't want Tuesday anybody else to hear, and I said, "Gene, if you had your choice between Tuesday and that girl, man, which one would you take?" He said, "Tuesday." I said, "Me too." Golly. And that was it. And all of a sudden, Elvis, all the way from across the room, "What'd you just say, Sonny?"
Whoa.
And I said, "Oh, nothing. I just asked Gene something I saw. You know, I didn't know where he was going with this at first." He said, "I want to know what you said. You said something about me. I want to know what you said." I said, "I didn't say anything about you." He said, "Yes, you did." And he started. And all of a sudden, I'd had enough. I stood up because Elvis said, "You're going to tell me? I'm going to break this bottle over your head." It was a Coke or Pepsi. I think it was a Pepsi bottle. And that was it. I stood up and I said, "You're not going to break any bottle over my head." I said, "You can stop or SOB. You changed so much in this year, I can't believe I don't like you, man. I don't even want to be around you anymore, Elvis. You changed." And I'll tell you certain things, Joe, in a minute about what I'm indicating there. And I said, "I quit. I'm leaving." "You can't quit. You're fired." I said, "Whatever.
whatever, I'm out of here. And I started walking. All of a sudden, the bottle wasn't in his hand when he confronted me. He got around in front of me to stop me from being able to leave the room. And he starts hollering again. And I don't know exactly what he said. And all of a sudden, I'm hollering back at him. And he hauled off and hit me right in the jaw. Mm-hmm. Spun my head to the side, and I turned back around. I looked at him. Was it a good hit? Oh, yeah. But I looked back my punch, you know.
Sure it was.
And I just turned back and looked at him. And tears came out. I said, I never thought you could do that. Oh, you didn't hit him back? Oh, no. No. How? How am I going to do that? Yeah, right. I walked. I turned around and walked away. Tuesday and Alan followed me in there. And Tuesday's crying. She said, what is wrong with him? Why did he hit you? And I said, because he's drinking, Tuesday. He's drinking. He doesn't drink. Well, she said, well, he shouldn't drink if that's what he turns into. And so we're talking. I just started getting some of my clothes out in a suitcase and started putting some things in it. And Alan said, I can't believe he did that, Sonny. I said, well, when he's drinking like that, Lamar, Alan, you know what he's like, man. Half of him got sniff blood in him that likes to fight and be badass when he drinks, I guess. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, he's at the door, and he asked Tuesday and Alan to excuse him. He shuts the door and sits down and says, what's going on? I said, well, I'm just getting my stuff together. I've called a friend. I'm going over to her place for a couple of days and just figure out some things. He said, well, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know yet. He said, have you got any money? I said, yeah, I got some money. I'm okay.
You see, he's trying to say sorry.
You want one of the guys to take you some places? I said, no, I got a cab coming. Thanks. He said, well, what's wrong? I said, well, I just don't understand what just happened. I'm a little shocked by it. And I said, you've changed some, man, in this year. And it's kind of caught me off guard. He said, I hadn't changed. I guess you have, Elvis. I guess you have. So, small talk, and I just said to him, I said, is it all right if I leave most of my clothes here and come back up and get them so I don't have to take them tonight? He said, yeah. So maybe he thought that when I came back I wouldn't be needing to move them, you know. But anyway, I left. He walked to the door and watched me get in the cab and leave. Mm-hmm. And I left it, and then he, I guess, shut the door and went on back in there.
Did he want him to run after him to the cab or something?
Yeah.
Like a kind woman? Like, Elvis ain't gonna do that.
Yeah. The statement he makes as far as with Elvis drinking, it almost makes it sound like it was a regular kind of a problem with the way he said, you know what he's like when he's drinking.
Yeah, what's the constant references to the Smiths? I mean, Sonny didn't know Gladys.
Yeah, right.
I mean, yeah, there's Travis, and Gene, obviously, and so maybe Gene was an issue, or Billy wouldn't have been enough.
I know that Jesse was known as a drinker, but
that's Presley. So yeah, he keeps referencing.
Oh yeah. You're right. Yeah. You're right. Duh.
It's bizarre to me. Does he say anything nice about Elvis in any of these?
You're right.
Your mic's off, baby.
Oh, can you hear me now?
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Yes, we can.
I don't think he's saying anything really bad. Somebody said in here basically that they didn't believe this whole story. This story I've heard before. I didn't hear anything about a Pepsi bottle. To me, that was new, but this really did happen. And it happened another time, too, when he punched, Larry Gellett talks about it, when he slapped Charlie Hodge in the face.
Yeah, I remember that one.
So he did have a temper.
Yeah, wasn't Charlie being like a little out of control?
I don't remember. You still don't hit anybody?
Right. I mean, I'm saying. But yeah,
Charlie, Charlie adored Elvis. Absolutely adored him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
But I also heard, correct me if I'm wrong, I also heard
I will.
stories that when Charlie was drunk, he was also a
Belligerent.
nightmare.
Yeah, I don't think alcohol mixed with that group, period, with anybody in that group.
Yeah.
And Elvis seemed to be the smart one to where he was able to restrain from it, really.
Yeah, I think he realized he.
Yeah, and he didn't, and he saw, being part Smith, I'm sure he saw a lot of it that those guys never saw.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can have a temper. I mean, Melissa says 8471. He's allowed to have a temper, though. People don't consider the pressure and stress Elvis was under at times, and if he was so bad, they could have left. You still don't punch somebody out. Pressure.
Yeah,
You just don't do it.
no.
Everybody has
Yeah.
pressure. I mean, the pressure I have in my life is horrible. I don't.
Yeah, but if he was, if he was somebody that at that time was had a few drinks when he really shouldn't be, you don't know how much it would have affected him. So that punch wasn't probably, if that's the case, then that punch really wasn't Elvis. It
Hmm.
was just a reaction from drinking and you're not thinking. So, I don't know. Yeah, you don't punch anybody, but if you
And
don't if your inhibitions are all out of whack.
and also remember at that time too, he was taking medication too. So now he's drinking alcohol with working with a medication. Should we hold him absolutely 100% responsible for his actions? No.
No, but
No.
yeah, I agree with yeah. The punch was to me way out of the line
I disagree.
based upon Tony's.
I
What you
disagree with
what,
Cam. Cam's wrong.
Like Kim says, like Sonny never punched anyone out. Right, that's my
Well,
point. Like, you
oh,
can't fault somebody for some shit that you do yourself. Like,
that was his job.
Hmm.
That was his.
mm,
I
Elvis
just,
Yeah.
made him hit people.
violence never works. I don't care if you're Elvis or Jesus Christ.
Right, that's what
No.
I'm saying though. But those guys were also they weren't freaking Buddha.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why Sonny was part of the gang because he was such a good fighter.
Mhm. Yeah, right.
Well, unless he came up against Melinda at the skating rink and he couldn't whip her.
all right, here we go. We got 5 minutes left of this. I don't think we're going to make it to part 3 today.
We're gonna have to have another one. Yeah.
Yep. Oh darn.
About 9 days later, I walked over to the lot on Paramount, and the guard knew me. And I asked him what soundstage they were on, and he told me, and I went to it. And guys were standing around there talking. I went over to them, Alan and Gene and them, and they would, like I said, usually when you were out with Elvis, you were out with the guys too. Mm-hmm. But in this case, they knew I hadn't done a thing wrong, or he was totally wrong. And I don't know what he had been saying between that 8 days ago and today about, I shouldn't have hit him or something. I thought he said something about me. So maybe he didn't indicate that they should be against me, that I was out. And maybe that's why, but at least they weren't. We stand there talking. Then he walks off of the set after shooting a scene and saw me in kind of a half shift in his step there for a little polish at Sonny. I said, "Hey, Elvis." He says, "Come on in here, man." And I went over to the corporal dressing room, and Joe was sitting there reading one of the trade papers. I don't know which one, Variety or the Reporter, Hollywood trade papers. And Elvis said, "Joe, excuse us, Miss Man, I want to talk to Sonny." And Joe said, "Oh, yeah. Hey, son." I said, "Hey, Joe." And he walked away, and I sat down on the couch in the dressing room and was watching him. He sat down at the makeup table there where he did his hair and had his makeup and everything put on and started brushing his hair a little bit. And I'm watching through the mirror at his image there. All of a sudden, our eyes locked in the mirror there. He saw me, and I saw him. That grin came to his face. He said, "You crazy son of a bitch." I said, "Me? I'm not crazy." "Joe, you there?" "Yeah." "Oh, okay."
Oh, he's got his phone on
I'm
mute.
sorry. I was so listening to it. So I went ahead and he we kind of laughed about it and everything. He said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "Well, what I'd like to do, Elvis, I'd like to stay out here and get in the Screen Extra skills and work like Red does out here, and then work with you when you come out on your pictures and stuff." And they said if I get a letter from you that I can get in immediately because they have a waiting list, people wanting to get in. But, I was the type of people that worked in his movies, young people. So he always had a lot of them on his pictures, so he employed a lot. So his movies did, so that wasn't a problem. Well, the other guys found out, and they all wanted to join, too, and make extra money. Because the way the contract was then, if you were over either 75 or 150 miles away from Hollywood, you could work people extra without them having to belong to the union. But if you were within that radius, you had to hire union people. So we got in, and sure enough, they went back and they followed that dream. When they came out, I went over there at Goldwyn Studios and hung out with them over there. Then they went back home and they came back out, and the next picture was, I think, it was uh, something, Kid Galahad or something.
Oh, another.
I liked that picture.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I liked Kid Galahad.
I liked, what's his name?
Just acting between Charles Bronson and Gig Young and Elvis, I thought that was a great...
Yeah, I like Gig Young and I like Bronson, so. Did he ever, maybe I missed it, did he ever say he was sorry to you?
No.
He just went on?
Heard my voice?
I'd never heard...
Hear how my voice is going? Nothing yet.
I know.
I'm like a duck. I know. For the longest time, I didn't air this interview because of that. Everybody said, "No, you sound fine." I said, "I sound like a fucking duck." It's that 90-something minute tape.
Yeah. Somehow it got wound up a little bit there.
Congrats.
Him say that
That's funny.
To anybody, that he was wrong and that he was sorry.
You just went on.
Or he bought you a car, or he did something, but he just
I
couldn't come
can't
out and
unhear
say,
it.
and the perfect time that he could have done that was because when I went in there with Alan and Tuesday,
Joe's underwear was
he over
too
to
tight.
Gene and said, "Gene, what did
What's
he say?"
that, Cam?
I said Joe's underwear was too tight.
Yeah. Did they have gummies back then?
I mean, his is going up too, though.
Yeah, that's true. It's just the playback of the tape because it's funny, and I can't unhear it now.
Yeah, I can't unhear it now either.
All right.
What did he say about me? And Gene said, "Oh, he didn't say anything about you." He said, "What did he say then?"
We went back.
Gene didn't want to say it out loud in front of that girl. Oh, tomorrow, of course, Tuesday was in there with me, but and Alan
we went back.
followed us over there, me over there. So he said, he just asked me if I had a choice to be with Tuesday or that girl, which one I would be with. And I told him Tuesday, and he said, him too. And then he said, we just laughed about it, and that was it. And he yelled out at him. He said, he didn't say anything else? He didn't say anything about me? With that girl? He said, no, Elvis, I promise you he didn't. So when he came to that room after learning that, Joe, that was the perfect time when he had Alan and Tuesday leave. That would have been the most appropriate time right then to say, Sonny, I'm sorry, man, I shouldn't have hit you.
Anybody never did?
Never did.
Did he buy you a car or something?
If he
Or?
said that at that time, I wouldn't have gone anywhere that night. If he'd have said that, I'd have said, I know that it was that gum of booze, man, and we'd have laughed at it, and he said, well, maybe that's why I don't drink so much, because, I don't know what else would have been said. I can just surmise. But if he had apologized, said he was wrong, and that he was sorry that he did it, I would not have left. But he couldn't do it. He could not even say he was wrong, much less I'm sorry.
Was he always like that?
Maybe I shouldn't have hit you. Yeah, I mean, he didn't do anything in that area. So what was I going to do then? Would you ask?
He would never say sorry to people? I mean, he never...
I've heard him say. Yeah, I've heard him talk around it in ways. Maybe I should have done this or that. I thought, something like that.
I used to be the same.
Yeah. I feel about what I did. That's about it. There's no, I'm sorry. Oh,
I used to be the same because I was taught that saying sorry made you weak. I was exactly the same. I would do terrible things to people.
What's that song by Elton John? Sorry seems to be the hardest word. It is. It's hard to apologize.
Yeah, and I used to do the same. I used to do terrible things to people, and the way I would say sorry was go and do things for them or buy them stuff. And people that knew me knew that those kind of gestures were me trying to say sorry. But I understand that 100%. It was the hardest thing in the world for me to go to a person that I had wronged and say those two words, I'm sorry. I never meant it.
Yeah.
He apologized. He told Lisa sorry.
Yeah, he did tell Lisa.
Special rules? I mean, Elvis was always right? I mean...
Really? So, but he usually was.
Elvis always got the girl?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I didn't better to think they were there to see me originally. If I showed them a personality and they had fun and they all of a sudden they think, man, I really like Sonny. That's the way it worked, But if it didn't, they didn't.
That's the end of that tape.
Oh, thank God.
I could hear.
He's a whiny. He's a whiner. I'm sorry.
I thought maybe you was listening to my voice.
I didn't hear one thing Sonny said that Sonny did wrong.
No, Sonny's perfect.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, all Elvis. And then so somebody punches me in the face. First of all, I'm gonna hit him back. Second, I'm not gonna turn right around and go beg him for a letter to get me a job.
Yeah.
I'm not
You
gonna
know,
lower
this gives you a
myself to
whole
that.
different perspective. What, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Who said
I'm
that?
not gonna lower myself to
Yeah.
that. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go find my own job. Because then you say he had featured roles somewhere, so go do it, Sonny.
Yeah, stay away, Joe.
Or
Melissa,
And
Melissa,
that's so early in their time together too. It's just like, what is that? 61, and
uh-huh.
Sonny joined them. What? Didn't Sonny join them after the army?
Yeah, so he hadn't been. He wasn't that invested. Yeah,
Yeah. My.
plenty of time. They wanted the benefits of what they knew
I
life
tell you
was
what, just give me a different perspective of Sonny. Just the fact that he doesn't say anything like, well, I did this and that could be one of the reasons why Elvis fired me. He never said that.
about. Mm-mm.
All he wanted to do is hear from Elvis, why did you fire me?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I really can't stand him when I went back through his book and he just dogs the crap out of Lisa
oh really?
Man,
and says that
what-
Elvis wouldn't be proud of her and I believe people from heaven can look down if they're happy and Elvis is definitely not looking down on Lisa. Shut up.
I
did
never
he?
read it.
He
Go
said
deal
that?
with your son Brian because he was a real class act.
Oh my God.
Good God.
I've never read it. I always thought Sonny was
Horrible.
maybe a little stupid, but he doesn't sound dumb here. He's got some.
I don't think he's dumb.
I think he's learned how to talk. I mean, all those little, even your kidneys have nerves. Well, no kidding, Dr. West. Like, I mean, he tries to like
Your body's whole freaking nerves.
Dr. Delbert.
Dr. Delbert.
But I like that now,
Tell us
Delbert.
more.
Oh my God.
Little
All right,
Santa. Yeah,
so,
Little Santa's a great story.
yeah, so I guess we're gonna have a part 3, aren't we?
Sorry.
Part 3 is my favorite.
This one is,
John.
yeah, that was only 30 minutes, so it'll be a good one next week.
I
Well,
love what Melissa said. She says, "Ha ha ha! In what world would Elvis not get the girl?"
I
I
know.
mean, why are you shocked?
Oh, let me see. Oh, hey, girls, do you want Elvis or do you want Delbert?
He's a doctor, though.
Yeah, do you want Dr. Delbert or Dr. Carpenter?
Your
That
kidneys
was
have
that
nerves.
was that was shitty of Elvis to do that, though.
Oh,
That was like just a nudge from one guy to another.
But was he dating the girl or was he just talking to her at the bar?
Just talking to her at the bar.
yeah,
Oh,
just,
well,
Oh,
she's
yeah,
your name
just
then.
Yeah, but to be honest, I would have taken Tuesday on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Mhm.
I
All
heard she
day.
was a wild one.
Extra on Sunday. Yeah.
Well,
Extras. I guess that puts out my gospel show on Sunday, doesn't it?
Judy wanted Delbert because of the Elvis benefits, but she made good cake. Yes, she did. Her desserts were legendary.
I
That's
like
so
that part.
funny.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, Joe, I know I've said this before, but I don't think I've heard an interview or more enjoyable than listening to you pull these things out of these people. And sometimes you don't even have to do it, but the personality you have with them, I think that's what's made it so successful. And like with Sonny, he dealt with it because he was talking to somebody that was personable and down to earth. And so I got to tell you, I'm enjoying these things and
Yeah,
listening
no,
to you,
they're gone.
even if you do sound like Donald Duck.
You son of a bitch.
I can't. I didn't even hear it before. Yeah, but now I do.
Yeah, now I know. Once you said that, it's just like the rest of the time, all I picture was Donald Duck wearing a little sailor's
Oh, I
uniform.
heard it right off. It just drove me crazy.
I could slow it down for you, make it better.
Well,
I could make you sound like JD.
I had somebody
Or
do that. Slow.
no, I could do that. I could adjust the tempo to where you sound normal again. It's real simple. That's how I make certain people sound like Donald Duck in some of my little videos.
Yes, I think so. To answer Natalie's question, yes, Natalie, I think on some level he did at a later stage
That's
realize the error of his ways. I think he did. I think he
you know
did.
when you start getting towards the end of your life or at that time, you start pondering things that you've done and you start to regret them. You
Mhm.
know, I do that. I think about the one or two things that I did that were bad in my life, and it's just you do. And I think he looks back on his life, though I don't think at the end he ever really was upfront in a public area of what he did wrong.
We talking about Sonny?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
he
don't.
finished out his life on some ridiculous mess. I mean,
Yeah,
wanting to go had like 3 different GoFundMe's to save their house from
Oh
foreclosure,
yeah.
Wow.
and then said, "Well, I mean, I have a gold mine of Elvis stuff in my
Yeah.
storage unit, but I can't get to it, and I want to leave my kids
Are you?
something."
When
Wow.
all
And
that,
then had the audacity to say, "Well, EPE doesn't care, as hasn't even sent me money. Why would Lisa send you money,
Wow.
sir?"
when,
Like,
when all that was going on, he contacted the show, and he wanted us to let everybody know about a. Now I'm going to sound like a troll. That he found a gun holster that he had inside his shed, and he said it was Elvis's. All these years, he didn't know that there was a holster of Elvis's gun inside the shed, and we could not help but think he's finding anything that he can.
Can you
To,
imagine the condition of it?
I
If
saw
he,
it
if
wasn't
he,
in very good condition.
well, he obviously didn't have it safeguarded against the elements.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
why would you put that in the shed? I mean, they knew by now there was
Yeah.
work.
Oh, it's over there by the lawnmower, between the bushwhacker and the lawnmower. It's right over there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He reiterated everything in his original book, and he went hard at Lisa.
I gotta read it. I've never read
And
it.
Elvis would have jacked his jaw again for that.
Yeah, I'm changing my sentiment now. I mean, I'm hearing this, and you know, and once again, that's why I enjoy doing these, because I
Oh,
hear things and learn some things that just like my perspective. You remember, Cam, when we watched that thing on Sunny that
yeah.
watched, I thought, well, that's a he looked like he had some contrition, that he just that he really loved Elvis, and then when I come to find out, it's what 6 months later after we've watched that thing, I'm just like, I was fooled. Wow.
Hey, Kathleen was out in the shed. Maybe she found the gun holster.
Maybe she's got a gun. Kathleen, you got a gun holster for us? We can get
She's
Kim
like,
to Graceland with it.
yeah. Hey, Kathleen.
Yeah, you guys can put it in my luggage. They ain't gonna search me.
I know. Yeah,
Joe, did you
like you
ever
said,
interview Linda?
No, I wish. I've listened to all your interviews, but don't remember at one time you sounding like a duck.
I've never thought. I've listened to your interviews so many times.
yeah,
I've never thought you sound like a duck.
You
it's,
will now.
did you notice it before today, or is it just today you noticed it, Joe?
Oh no, I knew right after I taped it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has something to do with the speed of the reel while it was on playback. So that's easily fixed. I could have it fixed in a matter of
Yeah.
seconds.
How did you record these? Because these were phone, right?
Yeah.
So how did you tape? How did you? Because I'm dumb technology.
It was a cassette.
You just had it. Okay. Wow.
I think they sound pretty good for
Yeah,
cassette.
They absolutely sound very good.
absolutely. Yeah, I was blown away by the first ones we listened to with you, Joe. Who was it? Marty. When it ended at 45 minutes, and you said, hold
Yeah.
on a second, and I thought that's straight to a 90-minute tape.
Mhm.
45
I,
one side now. I just knew it right then and there. And the quality, considering the format of back then when you had to record on a phone, what was it? Was it one of those suction cup
yeah.
microphones on the side of the phone, Joe?
I think I don't remember. It was something like
Or
that.
were you recording it? Where were you usually when you recorded these? At home or in a studio?
At home. At home.
Yeah, so you probably my dad had one of the little suction cup things that he used to record conversations with, and they always recorded good, because if as long as you put it up, you got to remember you got to put it up on the receiver part, not where you're talking.
The hardest part is when you had to change the tape like that. You had to tell the people to wait or stop. I changed the cassette, and I felt like such an idiot sometimes.
No, they got to know you're recording it, so
Just came
yeah,
up.
I
Gives
know,
me that smile. I'm gonna smack him.
I know. He's just a young pup.
No, because you guys eventually answered the question. Because I was going to come in and go to Amy's defense. That's not what she's asking, guys. She's asking like the audio setup. How did you actually do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the? Because you didn't have speakerphone back then. So how did you pick them up?
Yeah.
Remember? I don't remember. I seriously don't remember how I did it.
We need to know.
It worked,
Yeah.
It worked well.
and then Delbert punched me.
Then Delbert punched you in the face.
Yeah,
Well,
Doctor.
that explains it.
Amy, you have to remember Joe's old. His memory don't go back that far.
No, it was, no, medically serious. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I think we
I'm
established that
just
I'm the
kidding.
older one here, unfortunately.
I mean, you can be Cam. Jeez, thanks a lot, buddy.
Hey, you rather want a true friend or you want a dumbass?
I dumbass sometimes.
Well,
Yeah.
like I guess you got both because you got the dumbass at the bottom of the screen and then you got me.
What the hell is going on with him today?
We need to pass out the gummies.
Where'd he go?
He's
Where'd
gone.
Cam go?
Gone.
Cam. Oh, bring him back. Now he's at the bottom.
You know, the worst thing I ever did when I did an interview was when I did was it Mosqueo? How do you say it?
Yeah, Joe Muscale.
Yeah.
I think I called him. I was doing it quick. I was late. Machio or something like that.
Ooh.
You could hear in his voice, "It's Mosqueo." Gospel singing dude. He's already pissed at me.
I get people like, okay, everybody knows my last name, right? Lowe. You got Lowe's Hardware and all that. I'll get these calls, and they're usually these spam calls. They're calling from some little podunk town in India or something like that, and they go, "Mr. Louis, Mr. Louis." I go, "Don't call me Louis, please. Please do not call me Louis." This has been fun. I enjoyed this one.
Hmm.
Good interview there, Joe.
You're welcome.
Anybody else got anything before we say adios? I think everybody for joining us. It's been fun.
It's been really
Banjo, Banjo Paul, have I missed much? Hello, goodbye. Banjo Paul, you don't say.
Yeah,
Yeah, you pretty much missed the whole show, but welcome.
Oh,
what was the first thing I said when you popped in? We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Maxie 19699 says, "You guys need to read the account of this incident in Elvis and the Memphis Mafia by
yeah.
Alan Nash. It's completely different,
Hmm.
and it gets right in Elvis's face."
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
All up in Elvis's face, and then Elvis was like, "Nah, fuck you, man. Yeah. Screw you. Sorry."
A lot of
See,
no.
that's the problem with all this stuff is you read all these things, you're like, okay, well, you said this here and you said this
Yeah.
here. Sometimes the same person says two different things. So,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I agree. What's my favorite saying on all this stuff? We'll never know.
you'll never know.
What's
It's,
hard to
it's
keep alive?
interesting talking about it and getting everybody's opinion, and
Yeah, and
that's
just
the
getting all
most
the
fun.
different accounts out there. So,
Well,
yeah, yeah,
after a while, it's hard to keep a lie straight.
Yeah.
exactly.
Now, interesting to hear the different variations of stories like this. That's what I like about Decoded. Going through that, he tells all the different things about it in books, and then he comes to his conclusion, and you make up your own. But at the end of the day, we'll never know the color pajamas he was freaking wearing at night he died.
Say we're blue.
They were blue.
Blue. Yeah.
Mhm.
There were no pajamas at all, guys. It was just written in books to make it
Uh,
acceptable.
oh, okay. Yeah. No, I think yeah, I'm not even gonna go there. Patrick Gasly, we'll watch you on the replay. Now, the long goodbye. Definitely the long goodbye.
Yeah, wise ass.
All right, tomorrow we've got the gospel hour at 10 to 12 and for coffee date. So I hope you guys can join us. This has been a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying doing this. And if you guys haven't had a chance to watch the the two videos that Amy and I did, and Amy, I, and Joe did regarding Donna, check them out. We had a lot of fun. Great information. Great conversation. I thank Joe and Amy for joining us. And we're planning on a regular show on that. So once we get the details out about that, we'll let you all know.
Yes.
And see what working around with Cam and his time and see what he wants to do because it's just fun. It's been nice. I always wondered not for this setting, but I always wondered what it would happen if you had four people in the room at the same time. And I don't think it really turned out too bad.
No, I think we did well.
I just learned you got to put your microphone on, though.
Yes. I wondered why,
What,
like, I thought you were just like, oh my god, you all are stupid. Why are you saying this? Like, you were, but then you were trying to talk.
Yeah, he was talking. I thought he was chewing on something. So I don't
Yeah.
know. He just
what what time are you guys looking at to do it?
well, I guess. Well, right now we've been doing it. We've doing it what at 4 o'clock, and of
I'm
course,
open.
like
Anytime after 2, I'm open. My time,
so,
Central
yeah, if
Time.
we could do it, because I'm stopping the noon radio show because as much as I love doing it, it's taken a toll on me as far as other things, but not just that, but it's just not productive enough yet. I'd rather wait until the radio station builds up before I add more. So, for me, 2 o'clock. It's up to Cam if he's going to join us,
Okay, hold up. The reason why I'm asking this is if you guys do it at 3 o'clock your time,
right?
that's like 6, 7. That's 9 o'clock my time on a Friday, right?
Right.
And then what I can do that easily because 9, 10, 11. If it's 2 hours, 11, 12, 1, yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, but you forget so then you could still make the radio show.
Yeah, it's very seldom that I'm gonna sleep that 3 hour period
Oh,
anyway.
I know that 'cause you had to wake me up 7 minutes before the radio show.
So
I was out like a light, and I think I go, what the hell's Cam calling me for?
for me, anything less than if there's anything less than 4 hours between for me to get sleep, I'm not even gonna waste my time because if
Well, I just want to make sure you get that sleep somewhere along the line. That's my.
yeah, no, I'll no if you guys do it at like 3 o'clock your time, that's 8 o'clock on a Friday night my time. That's okay. I can still deal
No,
with that.
we're talking. Oh yeah, you said Friday night. Okay. What about you, Joe? Does that work good for you?
Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
Well, it's 3 o'clock. And then we'll just nail down the rest of the. We had some interesting names suggested last night. So what was that one about the grifters?
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
Catch a grifter.
yeah,
That's good stuff.
there were some cool names. So we're going to put together some names, and what we'll do is on our next show next week we'll throw it up in a poll and let everybody pick, and then the winner will be the one. So we'll put three or four in there that's really catchy, and leave it all up to you guys. Let you guys decide what we call the show. But I enjoy this. We're gonna be picking up Elvis, what happened, and discussing that. I'll talk to you more about that, Cam. What we had talked. I don't know if you heard. Did
Yeah,
you?
you mentioned something. Yeah, I did hear in the playback that you guys are planning that. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. So next Friday, 3 o'clock, we're gonna um, start Elvis, what happened, and we're gonna share the stories and talk about it, and just have a discussion with you guys out there in the chat. So anyway, I'm going to make this long goodbye a little bit shorter because I need to get up and eat something.
I
Um,
need to eat as well. I'm
so it's
starting to
5 o'clock.
forget.
Cam,
Sugar
thank you for joining. I'm glad you popped in. Amy, you too. Joe, oh wait a minute, you always pop in because you're always here. I met Amy. Like kids always did. Duh. I need another gummy. All right, guys, have a good night. Have a good weekend. And we will see you really soon. Love you guys. You guys are the best community on YouTube for Elvis. I think that's my opinion.
Agree.
All right, Joe. Yeah, I'm going to sign off. Bye, guys.